Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors meeting for April 14th, 2021, again via Zoom. And during our moment of silence, I just ask you to remember the following. All those who have been affected by this horrible virus and their families, and those on the front lines, the doctors, nurses, EMTs, police, fire, all who answer their call to duty unselfishly, and those everyday important essential workers, garbage collectors, supermarket workers, food servers, just to name a few. And here in our township, our management and our administrative staff, our public works department, together they keep our township running. Let us support our local businesses the best we can, and always remember to tip generously. Most of all, let us treat people with respect and kindness, even at times that we may disagree with them. As we start to get inoculated and the vaccines are being distributed, once this happens together as a community, we will be stronger when this is finally over. If we all just bow our heads for a moment. Participate with the board in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Lewis, any changes or additions to the agenda tonight?
Mr. Chairman, one change. Item number 7 will be removed from the agenda.
Okay. And let me just get to my agenda here. Got too many gadgets going on. There's no special actions. I guess we'll go right into our first session of public comment. Anyone who would like to make a comment of anything that is not on the agenda tonight, please raise their hand and I will call on you. Okay, seeing none. We have a okay, we're taking that off. 7 is taken off. Minor approvals. August Grace Young, Girl Scouts of the Eastern Pennsylvania Troop 2945. Is there someone here for that?
Hello.
Okay, there you go. You're on. Why don't you
Oh,
tell us
I'm
what you want?
first.
Why
All
don't you
right.
tell us what you want to do? Okay.
All right. Hello. My name is August Grace Young, and I'm a Girl Scout senior from Troop 2945. I've been interested in helping the environment for a long time. When I was in 7th grade, I entered a National Geographic contest about reducing plastic waste, and a few years ago, I did a litter cleanup in my neighborhood. I care a lot about this issue, and I'd love to be able to help out however I can. That's why I'm doing litter cleanups and spreading awareness for my Silver Award project. The Silver Award is the highest award a Girl Scout cadet, which is the level right before senior, can earn, and is one of the steps on the road to the Gold Award. For my project, I organized and led a series of litter cleanups around Newtown. Additionally, I would like to create and put up a sign to educate people about litter. That last reason is why I'm here tonight. I would like you, the Board of Supervisors, to approve my proposal for a sign to be placed in Staples Field. Yes, I know that's not the official name. The Parks and Rec Board made some suggestions when I talked to them, including the location of the sign and some guidelines on its size. So what I decided is that the sign will be 18 by 24 inches tall. Well, you know, the size, not just height. Printed on PVC and mounted to a 5-foot tall signpost through holes on the top and bottom. It will most likely cost around $40, and I'll be paying for it with troop funds and having it printed myself. The sign contains information about litter and suggestions on what people could do to reduce it. The design is on the document that I believe was sent out to you, but I do have it here, and so I can send it or show it to you or whatever you need, if that would be necessary.
I believe all the board members have that. I think it was in our packet. No, okay. Yeah, we have it.
All right. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions or?
Sure. Now, when you say Staples Field, are you talking about the field where the skateboard park is?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
that was a suggestion I received from the Parks and Recreation Board, who
Excellent.
advised me to place it there because there's been litter issues.
Okay. Now, does anyone have any questions for August?
August, I have one. Would you be interested in putting more than one sign up throughout the township? Maybe at some other ball fields?
I wouldn't be opposed to that entirely. That wouldn't be the worst idea. That could be nice.
It spread your message throughout.
Yeah, no, it definitely would.
And I like it. I think the environment is something that we should cherish. So
Thank
all the
you.
ball fields have opportunities where people can kind of make sure that they, protect the environment, put trash away. And
Oh, definitely.
I
Let
think
us
sending that
have-
message throughout the
let-
township is great.
Let us have her perform this function first, and then we could see about other parks or in other areas.
Sure. Sorry, I'm getting
uh,
ahead of myself.
August, do you have any, is it August or August Grace? How do you like?
August Grace.
Okay, August Grace, I didn't see, and maybe I missed it, or I didn't see any kind of sketch of the sign itself. Maybe I missed it, or.
What was I'm not 100% sure what version of the document you got sent or how it worked out. I know I sent along a document that I was told would be passed along to you guys, and it did have an image of my design I made for the sign on it.
Yep. I have one that says stop littering in green letters, and then three
Yeah,
pictures
yeah,
and three
that.
green circles. Yeah, there you go. John Mack is showing us.
I got that. I didn't know.
Oh,
that was
that's
gonna be
very
the sign.
small.
Okay.
I don't think I can screen share without like being.
Well, no, I think we all have it. I
Oh.
didn't know if that was the exact sign, but
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my design for it. Yeah.
Very nice. Very
I have
informative.
a question, Miss Young.
Mhm.
Who are you gonna dig the hole to put the pole in that the sign goes on, or you gonna get some help?
Yeah, that was the plan. We were
Really?
gonna.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Public Works Department could help you out there.
Maybe some
Well-
supervisors can dig the hole for her.
Usually
I
these are
was
projects that are-
definitely that was
that are
something I had been thinking about. I was, advised to contact and call some people and whatever, but I wasn't 100% sure about that. So
Happy to help you, Miss Young.
I would love some help.
Mr. Oxley will help you.
The year of the ox. What can I say?
There you go.
You got some cement for that hole?
Mr. Sander, is there a motion we need in regards to this?
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate to, if the board is of a mind, to make a motion to authorize August Grace Young to proceed with her project to erect a sign at the Staples Field regarding awareness of litter, no littering, and clean up your litter.
Okay, do I have
Motion to approve.
such a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further questions from the board? Okay. Anything from the public? We have a few of the public here. All right, seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. August Grace, you're on your way.
All
Good
right.
luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along. What else do we have? Oh, we're right to reports of committees, boards, and commissions. Hey, Alan, you're up already.
No, you're muted.
You're on mute. Take yourself off mute. Everybody else put themselves on mute.
I'm sorry, got to get with the program. Thank you very much. I'm Alan Fiddler here to give you a synopsis of our April 6, 2021 meeting. We had one PRD variance for discussion that evening. This was for Ms. Bonafisco at 8 Adrian Court. Jennifer Bonafisco was in attendance to review her application for a PRD variance for increased impervious surface to 37.8%, where 30% is the maximum permitted to build a 14 by 30 foot in-ground swimming pool with a 2-foot paver coping. Ms. Bonifrisco's pool contractor was also in attendance to discuss the planned construction, including an infiltration trench covering the entire downslope area, which proposes to capture the additional runoff. A number of neighbors from on Meridian Circle at the rear of the Bonifrisco property were in attendance at the meeting to object because they had concerns about the additional runoff causing flooding on their properties, where in some cases they already have some standing water problems at the rear of their properties during rainy weather. The commission advised Mrs. Bonifrisco that she should ask her pool's contractor to submit to the township engineer to confirm in writing the calculations for the proposed infiltration trench, suggesting that she should return to the commission with this information. Our members did confirm that Ms. Bonifrisco is not responsible to address her neighbor's existing water issues, but her construction must not create additional runoff onto neighboring properties. We felt as a commission that having that engineering documentation in the hands of the township could ensure the township and the neighbors that this additional runoff was not a cause of concern for the downhill neighbors. Because Ms. Bonifrisco elected to go directly to the supervisors with this information, we were not able to give a formal recommendation on this application, only informing her that she must comply with the Remington and Vernick review letter dated March 23, 2021. Under new business, Michelle did have a presentation ready to provide to us regarding the new potential uses in the OLI and the LI district in the Commons. But because of a power outage in their office, she was not able to provide the presentation to us. So we have rescheduled her for the May 4th, 2021 meeting. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Alan?
I had one just to note that this meeting was April 6th, because I know that there were some other documents that seemed to have come in since, at least one other document that came in since then.
Yes, it was April 6th.
Any other questions for Alan? Okay, seeing none.
Thank you very
Alan,
Have
thank
a
you
good
very
evening.
much. You
Yep.
too. And I guess that leads us into our next item, which is just what we were talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. Geez, I'm skipping ahead. Board members, I'll go right to Mr. Fisher.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to briefly report that the township and the borough have met since our last meeting and to discuss the borough's funding for emergency services division of the township. We are making some progress where we exchanged a couple of proposals either way. We're continuing to work on it. We have a meeting tomorrow. So I would suggest if
What's the
folks
story?
have-
What's the story there, Dennis?
well, and I want to be careful not to negotiate in public. So, and the story is that we started higher than they were comfortable with, and they started much lower than we're comfortable with. And
Well, let me ask you a question. Did we start, you say higher, but did we start at the reasonable price that we were requesting? And
yes,
they came back at a very insulting counter, from what I understand.
yes, I
Well,
would not.
why is this
not-
dragging? Why is this dragging on for so long? we had conversations with the borough 2 years ago in regards to this. And it just keeps dragging on, dragging on, dragging on. I don't know what we can do to either force their hand and give us the fair compensation that we are requesting. But it doesn't seem, it seems that every month that they push this back, they're getting another month of our paid firefighters who are paid by our taxpayers' money, of who had their taxes raised just recently. And they're giving free service to the borough, of which they don't even want to compensate us for it.
Well, it's not totally true that they are opposed to compensating us. You know, I think some progress has been made, and it's just a matter of agreeing to the number. I don't know how, you know, we came up with our number. They had a formula for their number, and we disagreed with their formula and the way they calculated it. So, you know, there's been discussions around these kinds of formulas, which I personally don't think apply. What's the problem is, we have to pay firefighters, our firefighters, whether they're out on call or not. And that's where we need help to maintain this fire service, you know, for the hours that they are there, whether they're on call or not. So, you know, I think it's really hitting home with them that this is something that they need to help financially with. So,
Well,
you know, I think there's progress.
Again, my point is that our firefighters are paid by our township taxpayers' money. And once they step into the borough, our taxpayers aren't paying for, they're paying for them, but to do borough work. And the borough has to understand this. And to compensate whatever that number was that they came back with wasn't even a number that would pay for the salary of one of our firefighters, which was pretty insulting. So again, this board did raise taxes this year, and the taxpayers are paying for those salaries, of which I don't know when the next negotiation for the contract will be. Maybe this year or next year. Mr. Lewis, you probably know.
This year, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we're going to have to negotiate our firefighters' contract, which our township residents pay taxes for, so that they could go into the borough and not be compensated at all. I just find this insulting and basically a slap in the face that they don't even want to reach some sort of agreement. And we just keep going on and on and on about this.
Well, Mr. Claver, when I was thinking that maybe perhaps we need a executive session in which to discuss this with the entire board, because this involves personnel. And I think it's appropriate to have an executive session if Mr. Sander would weigh in on that.
I don't know. Does this warrant an executive session?
I don't believe so.
I
Yeah,
don't think so. No.
The issue with personnel has to be the hiring, firing, disciplining, discharge, that kind of thing, dealing with personnel. You know,
a negotiation of an agreement
it's
is
not a collective bargaining agreement, and therefore doesn't qualify under that executive session requirement.
It's not real estate, which would be the other issue for.
Right, real estate or litigation, yeah.
Well, we would, I guess, then Mr. Fisher and I could talk individually with board members.
Yes,
and
we could do it offline.
Correct. Yep, as long as a majority of the board doesn't meet and discuss, then certainly one can speak to one other.
And again, the reason we haven't brought anything with a number on to the board is because it was insulting and we didn't want to take the board's time up with it. But, you know, we plan on improving that situation. And if not, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis. Oh, anything else? I'm sorry, I might have cut you off.
Just that I know a number of folks went to the consortium meeting where the Bucks County Planning Commission offered a report on Bucks County Fire Services. I was not able to go to that meeting, but I've read the document, and it is eye-opening. And it's something about across the county. So
Okay. Anything else, sir?
that's it.
All right, Mr. Mack.
Thank you. I have a few things. One is the Technology and Communications Committee met on March 30th for reorganization, and currently there are 4 committee members, and they elected Daniel Williams as the chair, Madison McCurdy as vice chair, and Premson Rajis as secretary. That was the basis, probably the most that we could accomplish at that meeting, but I did give them some background on previous issues discussed by the committee. And I would just note that there are currently 3 openings for the committee, whose mission is to improve communications between the township and its residents and increase productivity through the use of technology. So if anybody's interested, please contact Olivia at newtownpa.gov. Send in a resume, letter of intent, that sort of thing. The second report I have is from the Environmental Advisory Council, which met on April 12th. The main item I would like to bring up with the board is they decided, on the basis of the success of the March 20th, I believe, Audubon special seminar meeting that they had on a Saturday morning, where I believe they had about 28 or 30 people attending the Zoom meeting. They would like to do additional special sessions to bring in experts on different topics. For example, the use of pesticides and that sort of thing, so that they could help educate the community. They were thinking some regular, maybe Saturday sessions, and I wanted to know if it were possible for the township to accommodate that, as it did for the Audubon special seminar, where it was set up on a Saturday, and the council members took over control of the Zoom and were able to run a successful meeting. I don't know how often they might want to do this, but we'll have to work out those details later. So you think that would be something that I can get back to them and say the board is okay with that idea?
They want to have a Zoom, not a live meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah, these days people are not going out to these meetings. So right now, they would just like to have a Zoom meeting, probably on Saturday, where most people might, Saturday morning, many people might be able to tune in.
I'm sorry, they want to use our Zoom account? Is that what the
Yeah.
question is?
Sure. There's a special EAC Zoom meeting.
Mike, is there any problem with that, or?
No, I don't foresee any issues. I mean, we can set them up with the recording secretary account. The only thing is, same as before, we would just need details and the information to be able to set that up.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is the EAC, which is a township commission, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't want to open up the township Zoom availability to a non-township affiliated organization. So as long as it's the EAC, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. They would just
Yeah.
invite in special guests to make presentations, basically.
All right. Do you have dates and so on that we could probably put on the?
Well, no, not yet.
Okay.
But they do have an idea for their first one, as I said, the pesticides. And the idea is, as the season goes on, there are more issues that come to the forefront that impact the environment. So they have to time these meetings with the season, basically. So right now, people probably are dealing with lots of weeds and so on.
Okay.
They need information about that. The Joint Zoning Council I attended, I think Mr. Fisher was also there, and I spoke to Mr. Fisher to get some input from him about what was discussed there. But basically, the comprehensive plan was discussed slightly in terms of, again, the Environmental Advisory Council had submitted recommendations for wording to include within the plan, and the other townships, EACs, were supposed to review that and add to it, or modify it and give it back to the Bucks County Planning Commission. And they would collate all that and come back with some reasonable addition. But right now, only Wrightstown EAC has come back with some ideas, and we're still waiting for Upper Mayfield. The solicitor at the meeting, Mary Eberly, is that her name? She pointed out again that whatever environmental recommendations, it has to somehow apply to land use and the ordinances in a way that we can put into the ordinances. The other thing that was discussed by Ms. Eberly was the distributed antenna systems. And she went through some recent court case where the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, I don't want to get into too much of the legal details, maybe Mrs. Sander knows more about that, but basically the decision supported these small wireless companies, well, like T-Mobile, I wouldn't call them small, but they can start putting up these antennas on poles anywhere in the township without getting certain permissions and, not needing to obey the wireless ordinances that we have. And Ms. Eberly suggested we need to modify those wireless ordinances to at least put in there some wording that these companies will make the best effort, at least, to comply with the ordinance. And I guess that'll come up in the future in more detail.
John, is this otherwise known as 5G?
Well, 5G is now being, put onto those poles. I know right over here, the Newtown Artesian Water has antennas on top of its water tower with a 5G. And I know some people are concerned about the medical effects of that, but the science is still out on that. The only last thing is that this is local government week. So the State Association of Township Supervisors, the president, executive director, wrote an op-ed piece and urged people to thank their supervisors for doing their job. So I just wanted to mention that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My reports, the Veteran Committee did meet and had a successful meeting and reorged. I don't have my notes in front of me. I'll have something for the next meeting because we're meeting again. As far as the business liaison goes, I've been going out and visiting businesses, trying to open those lines of communication. And it's sort of like hit or miss if you get somebody in charge there. But it's kind of like door knocking. I think some people here will know what I'm talking about. So I've had some successful meetings and discussions. No major issues with the township, which is good. So that's it so far. I'm going to keep getting out there as much as I can and report back anything I hear. Regarding the Park and Rec report, we have early registration discount for 6-week summer camps. This ends April 30th. So if you're going to want the discount for summer camp, get in there before the end of this month. Camps are filling up, so get on it. Newtown Township newsletter should be in mailboxes by the end of the week. And we have upcoming programs, Creative Theater, Saturday morning art series, super soccer stars, and herb plant sale. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Oxley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Economic Development Committee will be meeting tomorrow, having a special guest from UPA Philly, which is a part of 1776 Venture Capital down in Philadelphia, where they have a wide variety of pods, ecosystems, where a lot of startup companies are trying to get off the ground, life science, biotech, and other different types of sectors. Anthony will be talking to us about how he developed UPA Philly and how they have different campuses around the country, and potentially how we can have a partnership where they can look at Newtown as an opportunity for that. So that will be something we'll be discussing tomorrow. We'll also be discussing an opportunity for a planning grant from the county at some point. Our Chief Operating Officer, Margie McKevitt, was discussing that at one of our former past meetings about how we can get a planning grant for some economic development opportunities as well. So that'll be something that will be a part of the discussion for tomorrow. There's starting to be a little bit more of a buzz in terms of our desire within the township to attract those types of businesses, life science, biotech, and so forth. And we're starting to get some calls, and different discussions are starting to progress in terms of opportunities there as well. So I'm really proud of the committee and how hard they've been pushing, and we're looking forward to continuing on. So that's for tomorrow. And on another note, I spoke with Commissioner Bob Harvey. I'd mentioned before that Margie McKevitt talked about some dollars from the county that could be utilized for, residents that are, struggling still during the pandemic, paying their mortgage. And I'd like to see, and Bob actually shared with me that the county does have some money that can be utilized through Credit Counseling Center. So there's an office in Richboro and Levittown. So I'd like to see if we can connect that website, the county website, where it's specifically about Credit Counseling Center on our website, so that township residents that have those challenges can have access to it and click on the link and probably connect with them, just so that we have, an opportunity to help everyone in the township win, regardless of whatever their challenges are. So that's what I have for now, but thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Lewis, I guess we could get that link up onto our website.
Of course, if you want to send it over, I'll be happy to get it up on the website.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is public hearing. Jennifer Bonifrisco, 8 Adrian Place, the Ridings of Newtown, PRD variance for an in-ground pool / paver deck. Mr. Sander, I'll let you take the lead here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate that. This is a public hearing held on the application of KS Pools and Patios on behalf of Ms. Bonfrisco at 8 Adrian Place in Newtown. That is located in the Ridings of Newtown, which is a PRD. The application requests relief from the maximum allowable impervious surface ratio of 30% to allow an in-ground swimming pool and associated improvements to be installed on the property that would bring the impervious coverage to 37.8%, or a difference of 7.8% in excess of the maximum permitted. I see Ms. Bonfrisco is here. I would like to mark some board exhibits before we begin. Board Exhibit 1B1 will be the proof of publication of notice of tonight's hearing. Exhibit B2 will be a photograph depicting the fact that the property has been posted with notice of tonight's hearing. Exhibit B3 is the application consisting of 4 pages. Exhibit B4 is a 1-page plan prepared for the Bonfrisco residents, showing grading and erosion and sedimentation control. Exhibit B5 is a letter dated February 24th, 2021 from the Ridings of Newtown Community Services Association, acknowledging receipt of Ms. Bonfrisco's application and advising that she will need to obtain the permission from the township in order to proceed with her proposed pool. Exhibit B6 consists of two letters, one signed by the neighbor at 6 Adrian Place and the other signed by the neighbor at 10 Adrian Place, which is on either side of the subject property, not objecting to the proposed swimming pool. Exhibit B7 is the township manager's memorandum to the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors, laying out the request of Ms. Bonfrisco for relief. That is dated March 1st, 2021. B8 is a letter signed by 3 different property owners objecting to the proposed project due to stormwater runoff concerns. It's the owner of 28 Meridian Circle, 26 Meridian Circle, and 24 Meridian Circle. That letter is dated January 21st, 2021. Exhibit B9 is a form letter from KS Pools and Patios dated January 21st, 2021, requesting that neighbors of the property sign the letter showing that they do not object. That is just the form that was submitted. Exhibit B10 is a series of photographs depicting the property. And Exhibit B11 is the Remington and Vernick Engineers Review Letter dated March 23rd, 2021. Those are the board exhibits for this hearing. I turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman, to call on Ms. Bonfrisco to address the board and advise the board what she wishes to do here.
Sure, Ms. Bonfrisco, I'm sorry. If you want to state your case and ask the board as far as why we should approve this.
Sure, thank you. I'm just looking behind me at my other computer, Mr. Sander. I'm not sure if the last 2 things that we provided after the planning meeting were in there, because following that, I'm sorry, I don't know all the right terms, but following the meeting, the initial meeting, we had discussed the recommendations from Remington, right? I think Remington's the name. And so following that meeting, we went back and we got a letter from our engineering company, and they also updated the plans to incorporate all the requests, all the recommendations made by the township engineering. And then our engineering company wrote a letter stating that in his opinion that once we implement all these changes, it brings the impervious ratio down to 27.9. So anyway, I don't know if I'm not an authority on these things, but those 2 documents, I hope you have them in there.
Yeah, they have not been marked as board exhibits, Ms. Bonfrisco. If you would like to identify them as applicants' exhibits and mark them A1, A2, A3 respectively, that would be certainly acceptable to the board. But we would want to know exactly what they say. If you could, I don't know if we can share the screen if you have them electronically or.
Oh, I probably can. I'm just on a different computer and I don't want to be too awkward. I know my pool guy's on too. If Eric, if you're on here and you can pull it up, well, go ahead. I just don't want to waste anyone's time.
If the KNS Pools representative can identify himself for the board, please.
Yeah, hi, my name is Eric Conves. I'm a project manager, KS Pools and Patios.
Mr. Conves, do you have video connection to the meeting?
My computer is saying it's unable to detect the camera. I don't know, because I couldn't unmute myself either. I didn't know if that was something I needed permission for, but I've never had this issue before.
Well, I could try to do it too if you can't get it, but it's a very short letter. I mean, basically one of the things is, we updated the permit and it's up, the dates are, it has an updated date, the plans, and the TLC survey basically just says that they're, to state that they are engineers qualified, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. We'll have to pull it up there, but I
Well,
mean,
let me ask you this, Ms. Bonfrisco. I heard it when you were talking about the updated plans.
yes,
You said that because of changes made to the plan, that you're now coming in at under 30% impervious surface ratio.
yeah. What the letter says, and we'll get it up to you. It says, I, Thomas Colbert, a TLC, it's very short, TLC surveying, hereby certify the stormwater plan prepared for 8 Adrian meets all the design standards and criteria per Newtown Township Stormwater Ordinance, blah, blah, blah. The plan dated 11/5/2020, which you guys have, has been revised. It's now dated 4/8/2021 to propose an in-ground swimming pool. In my professional opinion, the proposed grading activities shall not increase stormwater runoff and/or adversely impact downstream properties. Further, the proposed improvements will result in a de facto impervious surface ratio of 27.9. The permitted impervious ratio is currently 30%. So he's saying, in his opinion, it brings us down to 27.9. But either way, we have incorporated all of the recommendations. And I'm not sure what the next step would be.
And I have this letter. I don't know if everyone else has.
Yeah, it's in there.
I have
Okay.
it.
I find it kind of peculiar that one, it's been chopped off 10% in impervious surface from 37 to 27, and also below the permissible impervious surface. Where did this gentleman find this difference? And did our engineer actually go out to verify that this is the fact? I mean, Leanna, have you seen anything or been to the property? Or
I have not been able to review the new documents that we were just provided with, so.
yeah, I mean, this guy's a miracle worker. I mean, I would send him out to all our properties and try to find additional impervious surface or less or pervious surface, actually. Now, from what I understand, naturally, the two properties on your left and on your right are okay because there's no runoff on either side.
Yeah.
It's the properties that are downhill that seem to be currently getting water runoff, and that's without a pool. And from what I read, one of the neighbors even has a French drain installed, and that's still causing problems. And again, without a pool being there. Is there some sort of remedy we could come to here? And I think this would be in the hands of our engineer trying to come up with a solution. So this way all parties are happy. We want you in your pool and swimming, but we have to make sure that all the residents are taken care of in this regard. So Leanna, I'll ask you if you have any ideas or.
I think once we review the plans that were just submitted, I can work with their engineer and we can discuss the options at that point. I haven't looked in depth at the plans that we just received. So, once we do that, we'll have a more clear path forward.
Their engineer just got the letter in it April 8th.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it was like 2 days after. The day after we had our meeting, Eric and I talked to the engineer and he looked at that. But again, I don't know all the exact numbers, and Leanna, you may know better, but last time we met, I think even our original plan did meet the requirement. So I don't know if this 27.9 is as, relevant that we need to be, because I believe we had met it. And then if we implemented all of your changes, were we already within code? And then I did talk to a few other neighbors, like the two guys to my left and right, because we're slightly higher. But you know what, honestly, there was an error during our meeting. I think someone said we had like a 40-foot drop, which it was a 4-foot drop. That must have just been an error. 40 foot would have been pretty
4 foot.
high, right? But I have 3 kids here. I hope there's not a 40-foot drop behind me. And, yeah, but a lot of the houses in this development are kind of, the yards are a little bit wet. And one of my neighbors next door had said, like, I think a year ago, another person tried to put a patio in and they came back to this committee. So apparently this isn't a new issue for this development, which that's kind of new to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the issue of the impervious surface was
Yeah.
what came into regard. I mean, you were only 7% over.
Yeah.
The issue is the water runoff. And again, until we can get out there and see what a good remedy would be, and how you would have to take care of this, I think that would be the best thing to do. Mr. Sanders, is there any suggestions that you may have on your end?
Well, Mr. Chairman, it may be appropriate at this point to table the matter until the township engineer has had a chance to review the revised plan. A couple things could result from that. The township engineer may conclude that based on revisions made to the plan, that there is no need for a PRD variance and the filing of a revised final plan because the proposed project won't exceed the maximum impervious surface ratio. That's one possibility, which makes the application moot, and there's no action need to be taken by the board. If our township engineer determines that relief is still necessary, we can bring it back at the next meeting or an appropriate meeting to take action at that time with more facts in front of the board as far as exactly what the extent of the relief is and how stormwater runoff may be handled. That's a suggestion. It's a recommendation from me to the board if it wishes.
Can I get a clarification, Dave? So it becomes an issue if this impervious surface is increased over what's allowed. So right now we have 2 pieces of engineer reports that say yes, it's going to increase it over the allowance, and another one that says no. And the other issue is whether there would actually be any additional runoff. And I thought that was the more important issue because of the neighbors' complaints. And I don't know what proof there is that runoff from this property is a problem to begin with. And I noticed that they have some mitigation plans in there to divert any runoff from the neighbor's property, as I interpret it. I'm not an engineer, but I think there may be some other property. I don't know if all the properties are protected by this type of, mitigation, if that's an issue. I just don't know. It just doesn't seem that we have all the pertinent information, basically.
I agree, John. That's why I'm suggesting that the hearing be continued till the next meeting to allow those facts to be brought to the fore.
Ms. Bonifrisco, if I can request that you officially resubmit all the documentation after you get the surveyor to verify whether it's 37% or 27%.
Yeah, now Eric, I mean, I can see, I don't know what more how we do it officially, because he wrote the letter and I don't know. Well, yes, I agree. I am happy to resubmit it. And if it's accurate that this is 27 and it becomes a moot issue, that's great, Dave and team and board. If not, then
you'll still have to get permits to do
Understood,
the work.
yeah.
This doesn't immediately say stick a shovel on the ground.
right.
This step is required because the final plan of the riding says you can't exceed 30%. And as the application stands now, you want to. If that changes and you withdraw the application, then you've got to go to the township and get permits for your pool.
So, but the ridings didn't have a requirement for the impervious. I think that's a township thing. The ridings didn't have a requirement about the pool. The letter I
Well,
got. Huh?
No, they don't have a requirement about the pool. On the final plan of the ridings that's recorded in Doylestown, there is a limitation for, as part of a PRD, a planned residential development, which is what the ridings is, they
Okay.
establish their own zoning criteria for each plan. And the zoning criteria were 30% impervious for each lot. And if that's exceeded, which is what you want to do, you've got to file a revised final plan.
Okay, so if it's not, then okay, and all right, I won't take up your time for that, and then yeah, if it's okay, and we think it's not exceeding that, then I can move it. If we can move it forward, that would be great. Because I think everybody knows these pool things are so backed up. I paid for this pool in July of last year, so it's finally almost ready, and I just have to deal with what to do with this thing if it gets ready soon. But of course we're not trying to do any shortcuts, but if we can move it forward before going to the next meeting, if we're under the impervious, then that'd be great.
Yeah, and again,
Point out that,
I'm sorry, Dennis.
yeah, I would just point out that the term that was used in the letter from the engineer was de facto 27%. So
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
What that is.
I think that
that's
these,
why we have to
I think that the formal resubmission should occur. It'll go to the township engineer. Leanna will review it and write a letter to the board and let the board know exactly where this application stands procedurally, whether it needs relief, whether it doesn't need relief, and if it needs relief, where, to what extent it needs relief.
Okay.
And also, I think that Leanna will take a look at the proposed stormwater runoff management and see if it prevents any additional runoff from the pool from running onto anybody else's property. So we're going to rely on her for a lot in between this meeting and next. But if the board is of a mind, I'd suggest a motion to continue this hearing until April 28th, 2021 at 7:00 p.m. via Zoom.
I have such a motion.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further questions from the board on this matter?
No, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Bonifrisco, you're okay with all this so far?
Yes.
Okay. Any
Yeah.
questions? Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I may, when you're requesting a formal resubmission, you don't need me to refill out a variance packet for the township, correct?
No, this is
Okay.
just the exhibits that Ms. Bonfrisco made reference to, the letter from her engineer and a revised plan of some kind.
Okay,
That's
understood.
not a new application, Mr.
Just
Khan.
wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Right. So we did send the revised plan. So I think Leanna's group just needs time to look at it. Is that what we're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't think there's any more action or documentation you need from us, unless you want more from our engineer to say where he came up with his 27. But
Well, Mr. Lewis requested that you formally send him an email tomorrow or tonight or whenever you want, just reattaching the documents that you have talked about tonight. Yes, you did send them. We're not sure exactly who got them. The board members seem to indicate they got them, but let's formally resubmit them to Mr. Lewis via email at your convenience, and we'll move it forward.
okay,
Right.
I have it. Mikhail Lewis. Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion.
Drop
to
off, or do you
continue.
need me to stay on any longer tonight?
Well, hold on. Let the motion be acted on.
Okay, we have a motion to continue to the 28th of this month. Any further questions from the board? Any from the public? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. I guess we'll see you on the 28th, right?
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
That concludes the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have no land development tonight. Reports of officials, engineers report.
Thank you. First item tonight we have is financial security release number 1 for 3 Penns Trail. We inspected the work that's been completed and we recommend release in the amount of $329,324.50 to the developer.
Okay, do I have such a motion?
So moved.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Motion and second. Any questions from the board? From the public? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
All right, next item is the 2021 Liquid Fuels Road Program bid recommendation. We opened bids on March 16th. We reviewed the bids and we found no discrepancies in the bid submitted by the apparent low bidder, which is James D. Morrissey. We recommend award of the base bid, alternate bid number 1, alternate bid number 3, alternate bid number 4, alternate bid number 5, alternate bid number 6, and alternate bid number 9 in the total amount of $983,877.70. I'll make a few notes about this. Alternate bid number 9 is Sterling Street, located in Newtown Borough. At our last meeting, we went through the agreement regarding that. So just wanted to know that that's in the borough. It's also anticipated that based on information from the sewer authority that a number of the roadways in the base bid will be removed from the scope of work through a change order. That'll be completed after the contracts are executed. So I'm happy to answer any questions on that.
Okay, well, I guess we need a motion.
Correct. Yep.
Correct, yes.
Did I hear a motion? I don't know if I heard anybody.
So move.
Okay, I have a second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Now, any questions for Leanna in regards to this?
The sewer authority, the roads that are going to be affected by that are Colonial and Sentinel and Quaker and Pennswood.
Yep.
Thanks.
Now, are we in coordination with the sewer authority in regards to what work they're doing out there?
I believe they're still, Micah, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they were reviewing the work. I'm not sure if more steps were taken since that last correspondence with them.
So, Mr. Chairman, the last correspondence I had with them was they had received a response from their contractor. They were reviewing and discussing how to proceed with the response that they had received.
Okay. And just to reiterate here, this is not our contractor out there doing this. This is the contractor that has been hired by the sewer authority. Unfortunate as to what happened, but I'm assuming in the end we will probably be correcting it and overseeing what this gentleman has not done. Is that a fair assessment?
We will work with the sewer authority to make sure that it's done right. I'm not exactly sure what deficiencies they have found. I don't have those details, but I can assure the board that once they're done, whatever remedial actions are necessary to fix that work, that the road work that we receive from the contractor will be adequate for us to pave.
Okay, thank you.
So the township's infrastructure is the road and the storm drains.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Any further questions for Leanna in regards to this? Okay, any questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Thanks, Leanna.
Okay, thank you.
Solicitors report, Mr.
Thank you,
Sanders.
Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. One item on our report this evening. I'd request a motion from the board to adopt a resolution authorizing Michael Lewis as Township Manager and John Hearn as Chief of Police to execute all documents required to apply for and process a DCED grant for police patrol vehicles, which we are receiving in the amount of $131,900.
Okay, do I have a motion to such?
So moved.
Moved and wow.
And a second, I have a motion and Mr. Oxley second. Any questions from the board? Okay, and any questions from the public? And just to, I'll ask the question, what do we owe this generosity to, or who?
I'll let Mr. Lewis address that, and/or the chief.
Chief, you want to take that?
Yeah, we were fortunate that Senator Sanacero's office indicated that last year when my budget request was cut back on 2 vehicles, and I had concerns about some high mileage on vehicles, they requested their assistance. They submitted a request for what it would cost to outfit the 2 vehicles for the total cost, which I gave them. About 3 months went by, and they contacted us back again and told us of this availability of funding that was available, and if we would submit an application, we have a good shot at getting it. So that's what we did.
Fantastic, thank you. Any other further questions on this issue? Any questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
That concludes our report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Managers report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General fund balance as of this evening is $2,207,878. Plan expirations before the board with no action required. And as you just heard from him, we have Chief Hearn here for his monthly police report.
Good evening, board members and community members. March 2021 police report. We documented 1,930 calls for service in the month of March. We logged just over 25,000 patrol miles, had 15 arrests, 10 were DUI related, 3 for narcotics, 1 weapon violation, and we have 2 warrants. 1 was an actual arrest, the other one is still pending for sexual assault. There were 14 new cases referred to detectives and 4 crime scenes processed. Notable jobs, I just want to make mention to Detective Joe Camp that works for us on 3-5. He was instrumental in negotiating and interrogating a offender that we had in custody for over 1,500 theft from autos from various Bucks County departments over the past 2 years. He did give a statement, and he is being prosecuted for those cases. So Detective Camp did an outstanding job for us. On 3-2, there was a hazardous condition with a trash recycling truck that lost its contents along Eagle Road. On 3-20, there was at the vaccination site in Bucks County Community College, there was an offender arrested for recklessly endangering another person. We had 2 successful Narcan deployments, Officer Resta and Officer Helvig, both administered Narcan, saving the lives of 2 of our residents. And we had 46 traffic crashes, 4 injuries, 12 non-injuries, some property damage, and 9 deer related. There were 233 traffic citations issued with 279 warnings. We had 2 truck enforcement details, totaling 22 inspections, 10 citations, 16 warnings, and 2 vehicles were placed out of service. We did receive another grant for an aggressive driving detail this past month, directed for 8 citations and 11 warnings for the Richboro and Hanover community development area and along the Newtown bypass. Public service announcements. Consortium police test will be May 22nd. It was just announced today. So if you know anybody looking for a police officer's job, have them go on the police app and submit their application. Our MERT members, Major Incident Response Team members, continue to work the various Bucks County vaccination sites. That fund is also reimbursed by the county. On April 24th, we have our official National Drug Take Back Day. It'll be at the Township Administration Building from 10 to 2. Drive-through operations to bring all your prescription medications. The frauds are continuing, so please remind your parents, your grandparents, do not give out their personal information over the phone. No utility companies, no law enforcement agencies will ask you to go buy gift cards for whatever reason. And finally, the police memorial mass is scheduled for May 17th at St. Andrews at 7 p.m. That's honoring our Bucks County law enforcement officers. There's 13 in total that have lost their lives serving the community. The only other thing I just want to quickly touch on is everybody knows in the last few days, there's been some incidents around the country again involving police departments. I just want to reassure our community members that our Newtown Township Police Department is top notch. We operate with respect and dignity to everyone. We're tasked with enforcing the law, so we ask you to abide by the officer's request. We do it in an unbiased manner, and we operate under the best practices because, as you know, we are accredited agency. We've been accredited since 2013. And if in the big scope of things in the state of Pennsylvania, there's 1,117 police agencies. There are only 145 accredited, and you reside and you work and you live in one of those accredited agencies. So our department does an outstanding job. We continue to work and as best we can to reassure our Newtown residents that we're there for them and we will treat them with dignity and respect. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Second to none, as I always say, but anyone have any questions for the chief at this time?
I have a question, Chief. Thanks for the report. The numbers you quoted are for Newtown and Wrightstown, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And the Narcan, two administrations of Narcan, it's great to save lives. Are those Newtown residents specifically? Can you say? I'm sorry.
One was in Wrightstown, one was in Newtown, sir.
Okay. Yeah, but just reading in the news about use of narcotics is going up during this pandemic. And I see that we had 3 this year total Narcan versus 5 last year. I don't know if that's a trend or not, but hopefully we won't have any more of these. Thank you very much.
No problem, sir. Thank you. That's why the Drug Take Back Day, April 24th, would be an outstanding way to get the narcotics out of your home and drop them off at a safe location.
Any other questions for the chief? Chief, I just want to, you can let the officers know, the ones that went above and beyond, that we appreciate what they did. Unfortunately, we're on Zoom here, but when we get back to live, we'd love to have them in to recognize what they have done and appreciate everything that all the officers do every day that they're out there. So thanks, Chief. And we appreciate you too. Don't think we don't. We're glad you're here. We're proud of our police force, and I just want to say thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'll share your information. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Chairman, I have one other item under my report.
Yes, sir.
It's for the sale of some used equipment. We have in our possession, it's actually the old fire vehicle, a 2008 Dodge Durango with some engine issues that quite honestly are going to cost more than the vehicle's worth to fix it. And a 2003 Ford F-350 utility that was replaced by the F-550 this year. We're asking for the board's authorization to sell those pieces of equipment on municipal bid.
Okay, do I have such a motion?
I'm moved.
That was Dennis and David, did you?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion second. Any questions from the board? From the public? Mr. Lewis, when you say that I guess the Dodge Durango is in pretty bad shape, what would we get for that? I mean, is somebody out there that would like to fix up a Durango, or?
You never know. Basically, what that'll probably be sold for is parts. I mean,
Parts. Yeah, I was gonna say.
probably if we get 2,000, we'll be lucky.
Gotcha. Okay, motion and a second. Any other questions from the board, from the public? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Mack, bills list, minutes, and reports.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the March 24, 2021 regular Board of Supervisors meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any questions from the board on the minutes? From the public? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
Okay, I move that we approve the payment of our bills according to the bills list dated April 14, 2021, totaling $332,651.19.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion, a second. Any questions from the board? From the public? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0.
Finally, I move that we make interfund transfers totaling $228,230.79 as per the bills list dated April 14, 2021.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any questions from the board? From the public? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Mack.
Phil, we lost you.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
And I said very interesting stuff while I was on mute. But anyway, our second session of public comment. Anyone who has anything that they want to make a comment, just raise their hand and I will call on you. Okay, seeing none. Move on to old businesses. Anybody have any old business to discuss tonight?
Mr. Chairman, please, after you.
Go ahead, David.
Mr. Chairman, I'd mentioned a few meetings ago, discussing potentially going back to live meetings. And I know you talked about it earlier, perhaps at some point, but just thought that I would bring it back up as something to discuss and see as folks start to get vaccinated and, as we look at trends of cases potentially going down, if that's still an opportunity at some point.
Yeah, well, I would say, yeah, but I think, like you said, there's a few caveats in there that we're all, I'm getting my first shot on Friday, and I'm sure there's others that may be getting their first or second. I heard information to the contrary that Pennsylvania is one of 5 states that it has peaked. It's going higher, but yeah, I think we could get back to live eventually. There's still we still have to be cautious in what we do, but it's not an impossibility. Anyone?
Can I was just curious, once we do go back to live, which, I don't have a problem with, but I know that we've generally been getting, usually sometimes, pretty good attendance at Zoom meetings. I wonder if we go back to live, can we combine with the Zoom meeting as well? I'm not sure how that technology would work, but it's just something I'd like to consider, maybe.
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, I guess we would have to coordinate either. Would it be Video Gold or would it be the Township Administration? Maybe if we're live on our screens, there could be people that join via Zoom. I've seen that in different kind of conferences and so on.
Uh-huh.
But,
Yeah, we don't have to get into the details now. I
Right,
just wanted
right.
to bring it up.
Well, just to know there's a possibility that it can happen.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Anyone else on this issue, live or Zoom? Okay. Anyone else have old? I'm sorry.
I have one small piece of old business. It seems that we had a volunteer for the HARB, for our Historic Architectural Review Board, and we missed it. It came in on March 4th. And I sent an email last Wednesday. It's Joe McKiernan, and he was a previous member of HARB, and he wanted to renew. So sent an email to everybody last week. I don't know if you're prepared to reappoint him tonight, or if we want to wait till the 28th.
He was on HARB prior, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Okay. You want to make a motion to reappoint him? We could go through it.
I would make a motion to reappoint Joe McKernan to the HARB.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, John. Any questions on this appointment? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 5-0. He'll be notified that he has been reappointed.
Yep. And there, I think on the homepage of the township website, there's a listing of which committees have openings still.
Does anyone know offhand? I mean, that's
Oh, I
Yeah,
can
the
get-
veterans for sure.
veterans,
Yeah.
okay.
Veterans, the
Finance committee still have openings?
Finance Committee still has one.
And VA?
Environmental Advisory Council has one or two, John. I think it's,
I think two, but I'm
I
not
think it's
certain.
two. I think it's two.
Okay.
The Technology Committee still has three,
Yes.
but at least they got four and they're starting to meet. Okay, I got the Veterans Committee. I just have one more page to look at here. I think economic.
You have an opening too.
Two, Mr. Oxley, yeah.
Yes.
So we still have openings and the public can go onto our website, look them up, and if they want to send either letter of intent or resume, please forward it to Olivia and we'll get those appointments taken care of.
Yep.
Any other old business? Any new business?
I have a bit of new business. I had two emails forwarded to me about traffic on the bypass and the timing of the lights and how the traffic just seems to get bogged down the closer you get. As you come from 295 all the way over, it gets worse and worse, the backup. So I was wondering what the best way of handling that is. I don't know if the first person who sent me an email suggested the Joint Traffic Committee. She had been on that committee before. I don't know if we want to go that far. If we want to just investigate some other possibilities, would Mr. Lewis be a good point of contact for that? Or what direction can we point them in?
I think Mr. Lewis would be a perfect point of contact for that. Mr. Lewis?
Sure.
I'll share the letters. One came through the township website, and I think Olivia forwarded it to me, and then that person forwarded another email. It was Sharon Cox and Scott Mitchell.
Well, the bypass is all the lights are on that rhythm system
Right.
out there. We are in control of all the lights except for the one that's in Middletown by the George School.
Okay.
The rhythm system, I mean, we do have issues every once in a while and we call Armor Electric. So if you want to send me over if they have a specific complaint about a specific time, I can relay that to our Public Works Director to get to Armor.
Yeah, it's in there. So.
Okay.
Can you explain the rhythm system? As a good Catholic, I
No, it's
heard
called,
about.
it's called, yeah, I was going to say that
Now, John,
Like a-
watch yourself there.
it's called a closed loop system.
Uh-huh.
Because I remember when it was installed in probably the late 90s, early 2000s. That's not
No,
right. You're shaking your head.
this is a totally new system. They
Okay.
removed all
used
the
to be-
closed loops.
They used to have the cameras that saw what the traffic was, and it taught itself, computerized, it taught itself when to time the lights appropriately for the amount of traffic that there was.
You're half right.
Okay, I'm
Mike, is that something that the GIS engineers take care of? Do they take care of that system?
No, it's an engineering firm actually named Rhythm Engineering that
Okay. That's where it
that
comes.
has the controls to that through PennDOT. It was a PennDOT project, but it's been since handed over to the township.
Okay.
So Rhythm Engineering is the ones that can change the timing of the signals based on recommendations from Armor Electric.
Gotcha. And hopefully you'll get the rhythm corrected.
That's the idea.
Okay. But, any other, I guess, new business we're on? Okay, we don't have a reason for an executive session tonight, Mr. Sander?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. No need.
All right. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And without objection, we are adjourned.
Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Great
Good
night.
night.
Hey, guys,
Right.
take care.